This podcast is brought to you by Bloomberg Law. For more information about our professional services for the legal industry, please call 212-617-6569.
You're listening to Bloomberg Law. I'm Josh Block. After photographer Kirsten Kowalski blogged about deleting her Pinterest inspiration boards last month, her blog went viral. The reason, this wasn't just any photographer deleting what she had posted on Pinterest. This photographer happened to also be a lawyer, and she deleted her Pinterest boards out of concern about the legal ramifications of using this newest social media sensation, which happens to be valued at around $200 million. Kirsten Kowalski joins me now, because many of our listeners will be hearing about this website for the first time. What is it that you liked so much about Pinterest?
Oh, well, I think probably the same thing that everybody likes about it. It's beautiful. It's fun to look at. You know, you just got this page with just gorgeous photos all over it.
You work as a photographer, but you're also a practicing lawyer. Tell me about your career.
I've been a photographer forever. I was a photojournalism major in college, went on to law school after college, and became a lawyer. I've been practicing attorney for 17 years, doing litigation, corporate work, real estate, development work, things like that, and kind of doing photography on the side. And then I started my portrait studio business in 2004, and I still practice. I'm in-house counsel for a real estate, full-service real estate development and management company.
At what point did you become concerned about the legal ramifications of using Pinterest?
Yeah, I'm on some photography forums on Facebook, and a lot of photographers have been talking about it. And one day, a group of them were discussing Pinterest and had posted an article talking that somebody else had written, just talking about some concerns with Pinterest terms of use. And they knew that I was a lawyer also, and so they were asking me my thoughts. And I told them that, you know, like all of them, I really hadn't focused too much on Pinterest terms of use, and that I'd look into it and get back to them.
So there seems to be inconsistency, or at least tension, between what the site is about to organize and share all the beautiful things you find on the web, and the terms of service, which say you agree not to post any content that violates someone else's copyright. Essentially, you agree not to post all of the beautiful things you find on the web. Is that the tension you found?
Yeah, and that's what these photographers were concerned about. You know, a lot of them were talking about how tacky it is to post your own work, and that Pinterest is not supposed to be used for self-promotion. And they were asking how that could be, and whether it was okay to post your own work. And I thought, well, you know, whose work are you supposed to post? So I went to Pinterest, and I saw where they said, you know, try to keep self-promotion to a minimum. But then, you know, I thought, okay, well, what are their terms of use then? Because if you can't post your own stuff, how are they allowing you to post everything else? So I went to the terms, and the first thing I saw is that you're not allowed to post anything that you don't own or that you don't have all rights or license to use. And that's where the conflict was coming in, and the confusion among users.
How different are Pinterest terms of service and conditions and the terms and conditions of other social networking sites? Or is the real issue here not so much that the services are different, but that the reason for being is different? Pinterest wants you to post things you find on the internet that you're unlikely to have the rights to post, while fundamentally that's different than the reason for being of YouTube or of Facebook.
I think that's where the big quagmire comes in. You know, I don't know that their terms of use are so much more onerous than Facebook or YouTube or, you know, any of the sites. You know, they all have indemnity language and protect themselves. They have to. You know, if I'm their lawyer, I'm telling them they have to have that also. But you're right, the difference with Pinterest is that the whole purpose of the site is to pin other people's products, you know, works, photographs, you know, whatever they, you know, designs, whatever it is you're pinning off of websites. But then, you know, the whole purpose of the site is maybe against the law, but it's definitely against their term of use. And then they say, but if you violate our terms of use, you indemnify us for any wrongdoing. So basically, here's a site that we want you to use this way, but we say that if you use it that way, it's not the correct way. And so if you use it that way and you get in trouble, you know, you indemnify us.
And so you did this post. You deleted some of what you have on Pinterest.
I deleted my inspiration boards, where I had pinned other photographers' work, because until this is worked out, I've decided that I'm going to use the site in accordance with their terms of use. And I am not comfortable that I have all rights and license to pin other people's photographs.
In your blog post, you talked about this being an unsettled area of the law where the issues have not yet been litigated, and in your case, not wanting to risk being a test case or the case that makes the law.
Well, fair use, copyright issues and fair use have been litigated quite a bit, and that's where, the fair use analysis and the 4 or 5 factor prong, has been discussed in the courts, but it's very fact specific, and I don't think that it has really caught up to technology and all of these, sharing sites. The case that I cited in my blog was cited because that was a case that involved Google and a search engine.
That's Kelly v. Aribo?
Right. And, that probably is, one of the closer cases to I think the fact pattern that Pinterest might run into. And that's, I chose that one because that one actually was discussed in my forum, and they wanted to know if that case made it okay to use Pinterest. I didn't delve into all of the specific case law, and it is very, very fact specific. And I think that in certain circumstances, using Pinterest might be a copyright infringement, depending on the facts. In other cases, it may not be, depending on the facts. But, the law is not clear.
We invited Pinterest to participate in an interview, and we did not get a response. But you ended your post by asking Pinterest to call you, and after your post went viral, they did call. So tell me about that conversation.
Sure. Ben Silberman, the founder and CEO, called me, and very nice guy, very open to suggestions and ideas. Really didn't even want to chat too much about the legal issues. He says he has a good legal team. He really wanted to know from a photographer's standpoint what I was hearing in the photography community and what the concerns were, and some ideas that I might have to help make the site more agreeable to photographers and a little bit safer for users. And I've been in contact with him since then, and he's keeping me posted on their efforts. He does say that changes to the terms of use are coming. I think it's taken a little bit longer than he had hoped and that I had hoped to get them made, but I'm hoping that that's because they're taking their time to do it right and be careful to make sure that it's not just throwing something out there for PR purposes. I'm hoping that it's going to be something substantial.
Is there something that it would take for you personally beyond terms of service, or is it just the terms of service that would ease your legal concerns and have you feel more comfortable using the site?
It's going to take a little more than just terms of service. I think, I haven't thought through exactly how they can get around, the copyright issues to make it so that people are comfortable. I think this new pin it button that people are putting on their sites will help. I think that maybe if they go to a use of maybe smaller size files, so it's more of a thumbnail and not such a large file. I know that, people are saying, well, it's a low-res file with a link, so it should be okay. Well, I know I can print a gorgeous 8x10 out of a 72 DPI, 650 pixel wide photograph. That's not exactly a small thumbnail. I mean, it's a usable file. So I think I just have to take a look at it, all the terms of service, plus how the site is structured as a whole to determine whether I'll begin repinning.
How do you see this going for Pinterest? The site's valued at $200 million, but how successful can it be with the legal risks its users are being asked to take?
Yeah, Pinterest has a great product on their hands, and they know it. I mean, obviously, the emotions that they invoke or that they are evoking from people, emotions equal dollars, and if it's something that people are obviously passionate about. I think that if they're careful and they do it right, it may not be exactly the site that Ben and his team had envisioned with just this, sharing of big, beautiful images. They may have to make some tweaks here and there, but I think that even with some tweaks, people are gonna use it. They love it. The majority of the feedback that I have gotten is, oh my gosh, I love Pinterest. I really want to use it. And some people are saying, look, I'm ignoring all of this copyright issue. I'm using it anyway because I love it so much. And then other people are saying, oh my gosh, I really love it, but I'm going to wait until I see what changes are made so that, I feel more comfortable using it.
That's photographer and lawyer Kirsten Kowalski. For more information about this and other topics, subscribe to BloombergLaw.com. You can find our recent programs on our YouTube channel. Follow our daily updates on Twitter. Thank you for listening.
Copyright 2012 Bloomberg Finance LP, all rights reserved. The views expressed herein are those of the speakers and not of Bloomberg Finance LP. These discussions are for informational purposes only and should not be construed as legal advice, which has to be addressed to particular facts and circumstances involved in any given situation. Bloomberg Finance LP and its affiliated entities do not take any responsibility for the content contained herein and do not make any representation or warranty as to its completeness or accuracy.